Moving on then to our item 11, the Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton Community Board Report to Council. Mike Mora, welcome to the table. Thank you for joining us. So if we deal with the report first, and then we'll deal with the Part A as a separate item, if you've got any commentary on that. So anything on the report first of all?
I think we might likely have a break.
Yep, so where we're at the moment, we've got a number of community board chairs still to present, and I'm obviously aware that people have been waiting for some time. We've got the zone committees also waiting. We've got Carleen, who is only with us until midday and then is going to be out for a while, and we want Carleen in the room when we debate the Chief Executive's report. So what I'm trying to do is to get through the community boards within the next sort of 20 minutes or so. Let's do Carleen's report before she goes, and then the zone committees, which should take half an hour. That would see us able to break at 12:30 for lunch, and then come back this afternoon to complete the rest of the agenda and the public excluded. But I'm just aware that we've got people waiting who are expecting to be on at certain times, and the limitation around Carleen stepping out for a while as well. So Mike, over to you.
Thank you very much, Andrew, and for giving us this opportunity. I'll be as brief as I possibly can, and in doing so we're not going to have a video today to show us all the good things we're doing, and we've got no hyper helpful random facts to offer you today either, because our staff have been so busy on other projects. Significant projects in our board area. We do have one Part A which we'll come to, but we've got strengthening community fund projects. Unfortunately, our men's trust men to cook program has lost its chef, so we're looking for a chef to replace that. We are also in the process, because of the work that's going to be going on down Riccarton Road, and will continue for quite some time on the horizontal infrastructure. We are working very, very closely to set up a business association down Riccarton Road to so that we can communicate on a timely manner with the contractors and the project team and the businesses, and also resident associations, etc. in that area. Myself and the Fenelton Harewood Waimari Community Board had a meeting with the Vice Chancellor to discuss parking issues around the university, which was really, really helpful. It's not much use staff looking at introducing car parking restrictions or alterations in the area of the university unless we actually talk to and engage with the university as well. So that was very, very welcome. Picton as reserve, that's all underway as we speak, and the Harrington Park toilets are also, the contract's just about ready to be let there, is it? Close. Very close. There's other good things happening in Halswell. And the city harvest, as far as heritage, there is a lot of heritage in Halswell, and the community just want the opportunity or a location to actually display that, so that the public can actually come to speed with and learn about the history of Halswell, because that's where half of Christchurch came from, Halswell Quarry, in the early days. Then we've got the city harvest is the big food rescue operation has actually moved to Riccarton, to the Kilmarnock Enterprises building. Up and coming events that we've got is Connect 2018, which is an activity that involves the students and the local residents, and welcoming them to the academic world, and vice versa, welcoming the young people to be able to live and work and share in the community in a positive way. And Culture Galore has already been mentioned by our neighbouring board, and that's something that's been going on for over how many years now, Gary?
16, something like that.
Yeah. And we've got Hello Hornby as well, another event coming up in the Hornby area on the 24th.
So, yeah, 24th.
24th, yeah. In Waikola Park. And we've also got the Community Pride Garden Awards as well coming up at the Working Men's Club. That's, and the other matters of interest, we've got the reclassification of Denton Park and quarry issues, and there is a number of other issues that I could add to that list, but we are very, very busy in our ward. And I will now let you talk about the Part A matter that our community board accepted the... Do you want me to talk on that now?
Let's receive your report first of all. So we've got a motion in front of us to receive the Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton Community Board report, which Jimmy's going to move and Anne is going to second. Yep, great. Were there any questions on the report for Mike before we pass the resolution? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Now let's move to the Part A. Did you have any commentary on this Part A, Mike, or are we good to go?
Only it's really good to see the progress on that, and we had no problem at all with the staff recommendation, but we just did save a couple of some trees because the project involves some tree removal, but there were some trees on Waterloo Road outside an address that the residents really wanted to retain. And the services, the whole project can proceed with those trees. So the last resolution 28 is for our board to say, well, we agree with everything in the staff recommendation, and we add to save those trees in that location. So that's it. We're very pleased, and we can't wait until it's done.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions on Part A? Yanni.
Is staff going to come up to the table on this? Or
well, if we've got questions for staff, we'll bring staff to the table. Yep. Is there a question?
Yeah.
Right, so can we bring staff to the table for a question, please?
Do you want me to remain at this stage?
No, I think that's fine. You've provided your introduction to the Part 8. That's fine. So if you want to take your seat back in the public gallery, Mike, that's great. And thanks for your contribution.
Very welcome.
Now let's hear from staff in answer to any questions, and then we'll deal with this. Okay, so Yanni, your question.
Thank you. We've been given option 1 and option 2, and option 2 is within budget, and option 1 isn't. Is there an option 1B that remains within budget?
Just before we answer the question, could I just introduce? I'm Sharon O'Neill. I'm the team leader for the Transport Project Management team. I've got Bruce Conahan, who is the Transport team leader in our Tech Services and Design, and Sandra Nevaez, who's the project manager for the project. Do you answer the question?
Yeah, okay. So, actually, no, we just have option within budget that's currently retain the link, the existing link, and the new link, and do nothing was another option. Do minimum, just tidy up. It's a very convoluted intersection at the moment, anyway.
I'm just sort of struggling to understand how we can go out for a scheme and consult on something that we don't have money on budget for.
We went out to consult on the project so that we could get some feedback on the to determine the way forward, and also because we were looking to seek funding for the LTP should that be the approved scheme. We needed a fair bit of certainty around whether the support was there for the project, because it was a significant shortfall.
So what happens if we say no through the draft LTP because we get community submissions around, you know, rates are too expensive and we can't afford certain things?
The project still would go on hold.
The whole project would go on hold. And there's no legal requirements against us doing that? There's no legal agreements or committed agreements that we have with anyone? No. Okay. And just, I mean, does it, I guess my concern is this kind of preempts our LTP. So I can't quite understand why we would, I'm just trying to understand the timing, why we wouldn't wait for the LTP to confirm the funding and then go engage with the community when we know how much funding is available.
There's a really strong drive from the community for the project to go ahead, and from the Waterloo Business Park, so we were trying to progress the project to get that link road in. It doesn't commit us to doing the works. We've made no commitments. It's purely consultation. The consultation indicated that it was subject to funding being provided.
I know, but I've got I mean, it's like some of us have lots of things we want done in our areas, like, but we don't go up for consultation until we've got the money on budget.
Consulting on the pool, aren't we?
Okay, let's keep questions to the matter in front of us.
It's not half on budget, it's all on budget. So have we got any legal advice on this?
It is a project that we've been talking with the developers in that area and the links with NZTA and railways for probably 4 or 5 years over this project. It might be longer. Mike might be able to, sorry, I've only been around a short period of time compared to some of them. So it's been on our books and in our books for a long time, but we have not been able to scope it and fully do it. It's only just recently we've got the full requirements from the rail, for example, which is quite a major part of this project. So basically there was not enough money. When we did it, it was in the 15-25 plan. However, the whole thing hadn't been scoped at that time. Once we had scoped it, we couldn't actually put it back into the annual plan because we didn't actually know the full extent. So as soon as we knew that, we put it into the next planning document. We are trying to hit a deadline. It's a project, like I say, that's development's happening out there, industrial development that's happening out there at the moment. So it's an important link in the network. And so the only way we could do it is actually put that additional funding. Yes, if you turn down that additional funding, we would not be able to let those contracts, but we have, because basically there has been a long discussion on it and the importance of the network, continued work, we would just stop that and it would just go on hold until some of the full ramifications of that. I'm sorry, I would have to go back and just have a look at some of the documentation around that to advise you on the full ramifications. But we could bring that to you, to the LTP considerations.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. That's a matter for the LTP rather than for today. This is about the context that we're working in for the LTP. We've got an explicit funding decision to make in the LTP, and we may or may not choose to get some further advice around that as we consider whether to do that or not. That's fine. Vicky?
I think it's fantastic that you've gone and done all of the work around this. This is a huge development. The Waterloo Road Business Park is really major, and this actually helps keep industry in the Christchurch City area.
Is this a question, or have we strayed into debate already?
The question is, no, there is no question. I'm just angry at Yanni for suggesting that this should not happen when actually it had to happen. This is a huge development. These guys have put in an amazing amount of time, effort into building a major industrial park in this area, and it needs to connect. And to have done this work such that if it's approved in the LTP, we can get on and do it so that people are safe on the road is really, really important.
Okay, so now let's move back to questions. Glenn.
Thank you. Just the second para, 6.28. Given the public interest in this project, it is proposed to continue with design and tender. So my question is over the sequencing. So today, does this actually give a tick to the design and tender? Because it then says subject to the approval of the additional funds. So again, I don't want to get into a kind of apparent fait accompli where we actually can't go back, because if today we give the tick, get to the LTP, oh sorry, no choice, it's already been done.
We have heard that we can make an explicit decision in the LTP either to fund this or not, and the decision we're making today just forms part of the environment that we were making that decision in. So Dave made that very clear in his answer to the previous question. Sarah.
A couple of questions. First, on cycleways, and you've got 2.5 metre shared bi-directional paths here going across vehicle entrances and exits where we're likely to have heavy vehicles that might not necessarily look in both directions for cyclists on the path there, and there's not much width for cyclists to dodge. Why can't we make those wider?
Okay.
The reason for that has been the available width of land through there in terms of the overall functions of the nature of the road.
Yeah.
Is that 2.5 is typically, we have them both sides rather than just one side, so the design had been amended for shared cycle paths on both sides of the road. the original intent was on one side. So it is spreading that load. We also have the flexibility of spaces on the road for cyclists to use, so there'll be some that are quite keen to use it, similar to what does happen on Halswell, the existing section of Halswell Junction Road at the moment.
Yeah.
So a lot of the design elements had been looking at taking into account basically the overall needs through there, recognising some of the challenges. It is in an industrial area, there's no doubt about that. So consideration had been given to the interactions between both cyclists and heavy vehicle users.
Yeah, still not ideal. Why hasn't this come through ITE? Because it seems like it's the sort of project that would, like it's quite a substantial project that involves road extension, cycleways, those kind of things. It would seem to me that it would come through ITE before sort of the full council see the plans for the first time.
Again, I'd have to check, but it's a local road project, so maybe it should have gone up through the community, delegated to the community board to make a recommendation to here. I suppose I'd have to check the delegations, but it should go from the community board straight to council if the community board's got the ability to make those decisions on.
Yeah, this is a community board recommendation to council. That's the process that this has gone through. I mean, the question is, why did it not come to the committee? And the answer seems to be because it's a local road. Yeah, okay.
So if it had come to ITE, I think there'd be much more of a scrutiny over the actual layout and design and things, because ITE, you're quite used to doing that. And so I've got concerns over the cycleways, for example, but yeah, we don't have sort of that background information.
All right, thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chair,
sure.
as part of the design processes, we do undertake safety audits at each of the stages. So through that, we will then look at changes have been made in relation to some of the elements of the original design to accommodate those needs, and that's right across the safety spectrum. It's passenger transport users, because there's new bus stops going in, you've got your cyclists, you've got your pedestrian activity. So there's a range of things that through that design process we do have safety checks.
And did you, while it went out for general submissions, did you send it specifically to the stakeholder groups like Spokes and those kind of organisations? Great.
Thank you. Okay, so Jimmy, you're happy to move. I was just about to ask for a mover, so that was perfect. Do we have a seconder? Anne, is there any debate on this? So I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you very much. Now,